Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. This is Cyphbox bringing you the latest in boxing news, and basically what I want to talk about is, again, another video about Canelo versus Triple G. I don't want to talk about, again, in this video I don't want to talk about the fight, don't want to talk about scorecards. I've done my video on my analysis video of the fight. If you want to know what I thought about the fight, go and watch that. Also, I've already done a video on the scorecard, the 118-110 scorecard. If you want to know what my opinion on that was, again, go and watch that video. I don't want to talk about that in this video. What I want to talk about is the potential rematch between these two top fighters, top boxers in the world at the moment, Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. Now, a lot of people will be screaming for an immediate rematch, like we saw with Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward, earlier on this year. Obviously, Ward won the first fight, and 6 months later we got the rematch, and they had it straight away. They didn't have any fights in between or anything like that. Yeah, we could go that route. Personally, I probably agree a little bit with Amir Khan on Box Nation. I don't think these two should fight each other straight away again. I think we need to let the dust settle from this one and let everyone calm down a little bit, because everyone's going nuts and screaming controversy and corruption and all this sort of other stuff. I personally think, I personally don't see either fighter wanting an immediate rematch. And this is the reason why I'm going to say this. Obviously, the fight was presented to Triple G by Golden Boy and Canelo as we were expecting Triple G to fight Billy Joe Saunders for the WBO title. That got put to the back seat for this fight, of course, naturally. And I personally think Triple G will probably want to go and fight Billy Joe Saunders, who beat Willie Monroe Jr. last night as well. Let's not forget that. He defended his WBO belt. Retained it. I think Triple G will want to go and fight Billy Joe Saunders and pick up that WBO belt, and then probably rematch Canelo Alvarez. I think that makes more sense. I think he should do it that way. Just get Billy Joe Saunders out of the way, get it finished off, and then go again with Canelo Alvarez. Personally, I think that's the way he will want it to go. His team will probably go that way. I'll be really surprised if I see an immediate rematch. I don't see it going that way just yet. They'll let it build up a little bit, let the animosity build up a little bit between the two fan bases, etc, etc. Build it up again like they did with this one. That's what I think. Either that, if Triple G doesn't fight Billy Joe Saunders, I think Canelo Alvarez will fight Billy Joe Saunders for that WBO title. Either way, someone's going to fight for that WBO title out of the two men. Billy Joe Saunders is waiting there. He's saying from what I understand, he said he wanted to fight either the winner of Triple G or Canelo in his in-ring interview. And he said also he was up for a potential fight with Amir Khan, a British clash. I don't know where that one came from, but that's another video altogether. But I'm not going to get too deep into that. But I personally, that's the way I see it. I think, they both took some hard shots in there. They both took a bit of a beating from each other. I scored it a draw, 115-115. If you want to go and see as to why I scored it a draw, again, go and watch my analysis video of this fight. There's some people out there there's one YouTuber out there who said 117-111 to Canelo. Didn't agree with that. But then I don't agree that this fight was a robbery or anything like that. I think it could have gone either way. 1 or 2 rounds to Canelo, or 1 or 2 rounds to Triple G. I won't disagree with people saying that. Or even if you scored it a draw like me, I wouldn't disagree with it, of course. But I don't see. I think they'll build the rematch up a little bit more. Rather than, and a lot of people say, well, 6 months is enough time to build up a rematch. But I think they're going to add a little bit more to it. A bit of media debating and back and forth from both teams, really like they did with this one. Let it marinate again, and I think it'll have more to it if Golovkin was to fight Billy Joe Saunders and pick up that WBO title. Canelo, I know he could fight Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto's interested in fighting one of these guys again, or even Triple G fights Miguel Cotto, and Canelo can go fight BJ Saunders and pick up that WBO title and then have a rematch with one another. I think they both win that fight. I think Canelo or Triple G will win those fights, whether it be against Miguel Cotto or BJ Saunders, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. But I don't think it should be. I don't think it's going to be an immediate rematch. I think the promoters, Golden Boy, Tom Loeffler, they will let this marinate. They'll let people, kind of just like sit on this a little bit. Let the animosity build up between the two teams and the sets of fans and all that stuff, and build up the hype again. We saw a great fight and build up the hype for another great fight. I think personally, you'll probably see this rematch maybe mid next year, 2018, perhaps the end of 2018. I don't think we'll see it anytime soon. I don't think you definitely won't see it again this year. I don't think you'll see it in the early parts of next year. If anything, next summer perhaps. Gives them enough chance to both go away and have a fight each and then come back and face each other again. They both said they want to fight again. How much truth there is to that, I have no idea. Only time will tell. But that's the way I see it. I don't see these guys having an immediate rematch. That's my opinion. I think they'll go off and have a fight each. Whether that's one of them fights Miguel Cotto and one of them fights BJ Saunders, whichever way it works out, and then they'll come back and fight each other if they were to have this rematch. Does there need to be a rematch? Hell yeah. Of course there needs to be a rematch. That we have to get a definitive answer here. And I know a lot of people out there are going to curse me out and say, oh, well, there was a definitive answer. Triple G won the fight clearly. Well, no, sorry, he didn't. It was a close fight and it could have gone either way. Otherwise I wouldn't have scored it as a draw, myself personally. Again, I have no allegiance to either fighter. I don't have allegiance to any fighters out there. I've said this before and I'll keep saying it and keep reminding you of this point. So I score fights and watch fights as a neutral all the time. I'm a boxing fan. I'm a supporter of the sport, not of any particular fighter. I don't work that way. Maybe years ago I probably did, but not now. Because the way I look at it, in order to be truly impartial and to be able to comment and talk about fights without any bias, you have to be 50-50 down the middle, a complete neutral in the situation. Because people out there are so emotionally attached to their favourite fighters that even when their fighters lose, or even when they're involved in a close fight, they will not accept it. They will not accept it. And they will call out things, they will say things like robbery and corruption and controversy and all these sort of things. And in my opinion, I'm going to keep it real with you. End of the day, even the boxing experts, so-called boxing experts and analysts, sometimes make a prediction and are too proud to admit when their prediction was wrong. And some of those boxing experts and analysts are actually fanboys themselves. They're fans of particular fighters and they will always side with that fighter no matter what. So don't go to me and say, oh yeah, well this boxing analyst and this boxing expert said this and that. Well, sometimes you've got to look at those experts and those analysts and say, well, hold on, is that boxing expert and analyst a bit of a fanboy? And most of the time they are. So them themselves are being biased in their views of how they're scoring a fight as well. And like I said, you can't be like that. You've got to be down the middle, impartial. You can't have a favourite fighter. It's the best way to be, in my opinion, because then you don't get all worked up and upset about, and then figuring out ways of how you're going to basically BS your way into convincing or talking into people that your fighter won the fight when they didn't, or when they were involved in a close fight, or whether, the fight was actually a draw. So in my opinion, I don't think this fight happens till, if earliest, 2018, the summer of 2018. I think the both of them will go away and have a fight each. I think one of them will pick up that WBO title and one of them will probably take on Miguel Cotto because there's money in that fight. And then if the rematch happens, it will happen early summer 2018 or after that. Let me know what you think. What you think of the rematch. When do you think it will happen? Do you think it will be immediate? I don't. But do you? Or do you agree with me that they'll allow it to build up a little bit more, go away, have a fight each, and then come back and fight each other again? Like I said, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe if you choose to subscribe. hit that bell notification icon so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Until next time, this is Cypherbox reminding you to keep it real.